you want to invite to your next slumber party? Jason, Freddy, Michael, or just maybe the Driller Killer?
Nighty nightmares, sleep shirts with a flair for horror. Rock it out with Freddy, chill out with Jason, and pig out with Michael. Nighty nightmares, add some spinner to your next slumber party.
Announcing Nighty Nightmares sleep shirts, exclusively available at deaditesondeck.com.
Take out the trash. Why? There might be something delicious in all that slop. Put out the air fresheners. Place the clothespin on your nose. Let's dig into the cream of the crop. Celluloid trash. It stinks, but we must watch. Celluloid trash. It stinks, but we must watch.
Howdy, gang, and welcome to another edition of Celluloid Trash. And here in a little bit, we're going to be talking about Devilfish from 1984, directed by Lamberto Bava, and Evil Altar, which literally I've never seen. I think I saw Devilfish, but I've never seen Evil Altar from 1988, directed by James Winburn. So you're going to hear all my thoughts and a rating on each one of those here in just a little bit. But I want to get some housekeeping stuff out of the way, and then we'll get to these movies. So, upcoming on Friday, if all goes well, I will be having the first ever Evil Dead Chicks 90 Nightmares Slumber Party Massacre. And I know that's one heck of a title, but we're going to be, not staying up all night, but we're going to get in our jammies. I'm going to have my sleep shirt all ready to go. Hey, Gory Tiger. In fact, I don't know if I showed this on any of the other streams, but in case any of you were wondering what these sleep shirts were going to look like, as I said, they are pink with heather gray sleeves. And they are mostly polyester with a little bit of rayon. So I suspect they're going to sublimate beautifully. Or that is my hope. But we're going to be wearing our jammies. You guys, if y'all want to wear like sweatpants and t-shirts or shorts and t-shirts or whatever. I mean, technically, if you're not going to be on camera, you could, dress any way that you want. But if you plan on being on live on camera with me, I'm actually going to have a pair of shorts under that thing. in case I have to get up and walk around. Um, so just all I'll say is if you plan on being here in here live on the stream with me, just plan to dress appropriately. You can dress in pajamas, but just make sure everything is covered. I mark these as not for kids, but we just need to make sure that things are even appropriate for adults, right? So just wanted to put that in there. We're going to be watching Slumber Party Massacre and Slumber Party Massacre 2. Heck, I might even have some pizza. I don't know. We'll see. Um, so you can look forward to that. And if this one goes well, heck, I may have some more of these down the road and we'll show some other movies. But we got that coming up. Hopefully, I'll have another cannon fodder coming up. Not tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, I'm taking off. Wednesday night should be another cannon fodder. Thursday should be another they're all messed up. Friday, of course, will be. I'm not sure about a Friday Foolish. Me and Candace may do a short Friday Foolish from like 6 to 6:45 or actually we said we were going to change that to 7. So we may skip out on the Friday Foolish this time if Candace wants to join me for at least part of the Nighty Nightmare Slumber Party Massacre. I'd love to have her on here, as I'd love to have any of you guys and gals on here that want to join me for this first ever little thing I'm doing. No watch alongs this weekend. Yeah, that's probably about it. And I will not be having watch alongs the following weekend because Saturday I will be in Indiana, up in Indiana at the Skyline Drive-In, where they're going to be screening Trick or Treat at the drive-in, and Mark Price is going to be there too, who plays Eddie Weinbauer in the movie. So I'll give a rundown on that. Heck, I might even do a Highway to Hell for that particular event for you guys and gals. I've got a Highway to Hell for the movie Weapons that Steve and I went to see this past weekend. So I've just got to get my button gear and get that up on the channel. I also created lyrics for a new song. Yes, I used AI to create the song, but I did the lyrics. And I thought it turned out pretty good. It's called Going Back to the Present. And it's dedicated to and inspired by Ozzy Osbourne. And if y'all listen to Ozzy, if you've listened to a lot of his songs, a lot of Ozzy stuff did talk about, moving forward, not looking back, not, staying in the past and not dwelling on the past and reaching for whatever it is that you want. And so I got inspired, just people have been putting quotes up from Ozzy. They've been having, interviews and all kinds of stuff. And it really caused me to be introspective and kind of look at my own self. So you can feel free to check that out. It's in the video section on my channel if you haven't checked it out already and you want to just see what it is Dana's put together here. I put together a little still photos video because I wanted to be able to share it on Facebook, and it wouldn't let me just share the song for whatever reason, but it would, if I made a video with it, it would let me share that or post it. Oh, goodness. Oh, sorry about that, folks. I was getting kind of sleepy this afternoon. It's been kind of warm and it gets kind of stuffy in our house, and then I get kind of sleepy. But, I just wanted to remind you guys and gals that I have several things that I have for sale. They aren't quite up on the deaditesondeck.com site yet. However, if you are interested in getting one right now, I can put my PayPal email address in the chat here. And so the 90 Nightmares sleep shirts, I have a few of them. If you watch the 90 Nightmares promo, you will see that I have one for Freddy, I have one for Jason, I have one for Michael Myers, I have one for the Driller Killer. The Driller Killer is actually what I'm going to be putting on my personal 90 Nightmares sleep shirt that I'm going to be wearing on Friday night as we navigate through Evil Dead Chick's first ever 90 Nightmare Slumber Party Massacre. And so I don't know if y'all would be able to, you ladies or guys that want to get their ladies one. I'm not sure, depending on where you're at, I'm not sure if I could get it to you by Friday. But, I would try my best if you could get those orders in as soon as possible. So, how do you get one of these sleep shirts? There's also an Ozzy Osbourne one that says, Ozzy came to my slumber party. And it's Ozzy in some striped pajamas with some age-appropriate ladies around him, all smiling and stuff. And he's holding a pillow, and in pink it says, Ozzy came to my slumber party. So if you want that one, if you want the Jason, Freddy, or Michael Myers, or the Driller Killer one, just let me know what design you want. There's only one color, the pink with the heather gray sleeves. But you'll need to tell me the size that you need and which design that you want. And send $30 plus $6 shipping, and that is a flat rate of shipping. That doesn't matter if you buy one sleep shirt or 6 or 10 or whatever, it's still $6. So I think that's a pretty good deal. And so $36 total, and send your name, your mailing address, and the size and the design that you want. Whether you want the Driller Killer, you want Jason, Freddy, Michael Myers, or Ozzy on your sleep shirt. Okay. So another thing that I have out is I have a couple of t-shirt designs for Spooky Dog and Sebastian Meet. And one is an Ozzy Osbourne one, and one is a Robert Englund one. I'm going to have more forthcoming, but that's the two designs that I have available right now. Those are $20 a piece plus $6 shipping. And again, it doesn't matter if you buy one shirt or 10 shirts, it's still $6 shipping. So to get that, you would send $26 if you want one shirt. And tell me which design you want, either Ozzy or Robert Englund. And tell me your size or the size that you need. And I can do any color now, folks, not just light colors. If you want a light color, perfect. If you want a dark color, even black, I can now sublimate on black, folks. Now, I will tell you that there's a slightly different process to doing the sublimation ink on dark shirts like black. In that, you have to put what's called heat transfer vinyl. And then you put the design on that heat transfer vinyl, which it's sort of like a t-shirt transfer, but better, in my opinion. But you do have to care for these a little bit differently than the ink that's sublimated and goes into the shirts for the light colored shirts. For one thing, you don't want to wash them for 24 hours after you get them. Okay, I would be on the safe side. It's 24 hours after you actually put the print on there. But Me personally, once you got it, I would just wait 24 hours after you receive it before you wash it. Don't dry it in the dryer. Hang it out to dry, drape it over a chair, do something, but don't put it in the dryer, please. Even on tumble dry low, don't put it in the dryer, okay? For you people that have clotheslines that know what clotheslines are, if you want to hang it out on a clothesline, hey, that would be perfect, okay? So I say that, and a care card will come with the ones that have to do that process, so that you can't come back and tell me, well, I washed this as soon as I got it and I threw it in the dryer and now it's cracking and peeling all over the place. I'll be like, I told you, you know. So there are, some things that you need to keep in mind. Because, and the only reason I say that is because um, when I had my Etsy shop, and I will never do Etsy again. I mean, some people like Etsy, and I was going along fine with Etsy, and then I got that one proverbial person that gave me a bad review, didn't even come to me and ask me for their money back, which I would have gladly given it back or tried to make them a different product if they weren't happy. But they just went straight to giving me a review. They were very mean to me, because I contacted them behind the scenes and I said, hey, you gave me a bad review, but you didn't even give me a chance to make it right. And they were like, I don't want my money back. I want to tell people what a terrible product you made. And they just went on and on. They told me I was rude, and I was turning myself inside out to make them happy. So, I got burned on that deal, and I even tried to get Etsy to take the bad review off, and Etsy refused. And so I was like, okay, you know, it is what it is, but I'm gonna, forge my own path and all that. So um, that's why I try to be as upfront as I possibly can with all the products that I put out. If there are certain things that you need to do, I try to make sure that, I let you know. I include a care card. I do whatever to let you know, guys and gals know. Okay. Um, so again, those shirts are $20 plus $6 shipping. Now, if you buy, two or more shirts, it's still going to be $6 shipping. Just, if you get two shirts, it's going to be $46. If you get three shirts, it's going to be $66, and so on and so forth, right? Okay. So I also want to remind everybody about movie. I haven't remembered to mention that here lately. Movie related is in full effect for any live streams I do, including watch alongs. That will include also the Evil Dead Chicks 90 Nightmares Slumber Party Massacre this Friday. And how can you play movie roulette? Well, you just give a $5 or more super chat during any of the live streams I do, and you can pick any movie of your choosing for me to watch and do a review of. You never seen either of these, Uncle Bill? Well, you're in for a treat, Uncle Bill. I thought maybe you might have seen Devilfish, the Lamberto Bava one, but you know, this is part of why I do this. Is not only so I can watch some trash and enjoy it, but so that you guys and gals can maybe um, hunt up these movies and watch them too. And they are both on YouTube, but pretty good copies of them too. I think Devilfish looks a little bit better, surprisingly enough, than Evil Altar. I had never even heard of Evil Altar before. But I found this list of movies in a 2-volume set of books called Awful Awesome, that I got on, I almost said YouTube, got on Amazon. And I'm just doing 2 every time I do one of these. So, It's good to see you, by the way, in here, Uncle Bill. You must have been really busy. I thought Uncle Bill fell off the face of the earth there, honestly, because I hadn't seen or heard a peep from him for a little while. But I am really glad to see him in here. So, all right. So let's go ahead and let's get started with these movies because I blabbed for about 20 minutes. So the first one, and of course, I don't have any physical copies of either one of these. You're just twerking all the time. All right. So the first one, like I said, I don't have, physical copies of either one of these. So this is Devilfish with the tagline, "Sink your teeth into pure terror." And then it's got "Wave Goodbye." It's got these hands coming up in front of this. To me, the fish look like a giant piranha with octopus arms. If you don't believe me, you get on YouTube and look up Devilfish from 1984 and take a gander at it. So when Devilfish started out, it sort of reminded me of Jaws 3 or Jaws 3D. I was like, oh my gosh, Lamberto Bava's ripping off Jaws 3. But then, it kind of got out of the Jaws 3 territory and moved into more of like a gory, adventure like film. It was trying to rip off Jaws. I mean, that much was obvious. And the other title for Devilfish is Monster Shark. But this daggone thing don't look like no shark. Like I said, it looks like a piranha with octopus arms or octopus legs or whatever you want to call it. So you have people, of course, going out in boats and all that stuff and getting attacked and in some cases partially eaten. We have people that had their arms and legs chopped off or bitten off by this thing. But in some cases, it looks kind of ridiculous. But I think that this is a fun, well, kind of like a rubber suit monster movie. And I had a lot of fun with it. But here's something weird. You would think that not the shark, that the devilfish would be your main evil character, but there is a guy in this that like he's worse than the damn fish. He goes around like attacking people because they're part of this oceanography group or whatever. One woman, he breaks into her house and he pulls all her clothes off, and you think that he's gonna assault her, but then he just he either knocks her out. I think he just knocks her out. And she was running bath water when this guy busted in, and he throws her into the bathtub and plugs in her hairdryer, throws the hairdryer in there, electrocutes her, then pulls her panties off and makes it look as if she either accidentally electrocuted herself or committed suicide. One of the two. I'm like, holy crap! Where in the world did this stuff come from? And this guy is crazy. He's a crazy ass. But it did seem a little over the top, having this really evil bad guy in the middle of a fish story. But I don't know. It's Lamberto Bava, and maybe he just wanted to try to do something different. Now, the acting never seems very good in these types of movies, but I think most of that I can attribute to the dubbing. I think if we could speak, Italian or Spanish or whatever language they may be, would naturally be speaking in these movies, um, it wouldn't be bad. But because we've got English speaking actors and probably not English speaking actors, or probably just English speaking people, and they just said, hey, here, read this dialogue off. In fact, I've always heard, especially about Italian films, is that they did not record any dialogue. They would just film the movie as is, and then they would dub in the sound later, the dialogue and stuff, because they would always have noises and, people constructing sets and working on things. There might be traffic, whatever, which in a lot of ways, that probably was a smart thing to do. But for us English speaking people that are watching this, we like, what in the heck? This just seems so. Sometimes it seems flat. Sometimes it seems over exaggerated. Just sometimes things aren't dubbed the way you would think they would be dubbed. Just like I think it was. A Blade in the Dark. It was a Blade in the Dark. I think it was a Blade in the Dark. Um, I gotta double check myself because yeah, it is a Blade in the Dark. I was just making sure I was talking about the right one. Where at the beginning of it, the Bob from House by the Cemetery, um, these boys are teasing him, you're a female, and that just seems so ridiculous to us. Listen to it. You know how they say some things are lost in translation, but I'm not talking about a Blade in the Dark tonight, but I'm just trying to illustrate the fact that these movies that are dubbed, they're never going to seem as natural as just hearing somebody that is English speaking doing speaking English and doing the dialogue naturally. So, but regardless of all that, I did have a lot of fun with Devilfish. There was some pretty decent gore in it. The creature, although silly looking sometimes, was still pretty cool. Especially when they just showed flashes of it. It's like with Jaws, when they showed just flashes of the shark as opposed to showing the whole shark. Sometimes when they would show the whole shark, like coming up out of the water, and you would notice the eyes, that it wasn't a real shark, right? But when you would just catch glimpses of it, it looked a lot better. And that the same went for the devilfish. In that if you just saw an eye or you just saw part of these sharp teeth like chomping down on somebody or something, it was a lot better, right? But overall, a fun movie. I would recommend it. Um, I think it's just an hour and 33 minutes long, so it's not really all that long. Um, and I'm going to go ahead and give it a rating, and y'all may think this is quite high for a film of this caliber, but because I had a lot of fun with it and it had some decent gore in it, I'm going to give it 4 deadites out of 5. All right. So that is Devilfish. And so the next one is from 1988, directed by James Winburn. Evil Altar. I had never heard of this movie. I had never seen this movie. But again, this is available on YouTube. It's a pretty decent copy. Doesn't look as good as Devilfish, amazingly enough. This one was 4 years after Devilfish. And in all honesty, this poster makes it look like a better film than it actually is. And it has Robert Zadar on it, folks. Robert Zadar plays the sheriff in this. So, any of you Robert Zadar fans, or just people that like to watch Robert Zadar in a movie, he's not playing the maniac cop, he's playing the sheriff, but he's not a very good sheriff, folks. I'm just going to tell you that. Uncle Bill, you say, Evil Altar is amazing. Well, it's fun. I don't know if I would call it amazing, but it's fun. Some people might think it's amazing because it's got Robert Zadar in it, but so you start out the film with this guy in a robe and stuff, and I thought somebody was hung for a second because you just seen the feet and legs, but then and I'm not really sure, but I think the young man at the beginning of the film may have been supposed to be the younger version of Robert Zadar's character, because you see this guy in the robe and stuff, and he never changes. He doesn't age even after what 30 something years or something. I think it said on the screen. Because the guy in the robes is telling this guy, this guy's like, I don't want to die. Please don't kill me, and please, I want to live, and it's like they make a pact. And so I'm pretty sure that was the younger version of Robert Zadar's sheriff character. Apparently, it must be like, turning your soul over to the devil. You get, you get to be sheriff of this small town. You get to come up in the ranks a little bit when you do dealings with the guy in the robe. He looks like an evil monk or something. So then after that scene, you fast forward 33 years later, something like that. And this town is basically being sent like lambs to the slaughter. And at first, that creepy guy in the robe tells this deformed looking guy that he has going out kidnapping kids, basically. But he tells him, he says, you don't kidnap any kids from this town. You're going to have to go outside the town. Well, what does he do? He gets a kid from a baseball game that goes out in the woods to look for a baseball. And it's kind of like the beginning of the burning thing all over again when Tiger goes out to the woods and she's looking for the baseball, and you see Cropsey raising up the shears, but nothing happens to Tiger there. But something bad happens to this kid. Basically, the kid gets killed and put in a bag, and this guy takes it back to the creepy guy in the robe, and he says, I told you not to, take any children from this town. But then he's like, all right, well, we'll just use them. And by the way, you got to go back out and get me some more. So there's a man and his kid and his son driving through this town, and the son gets kidnapped out of a gas station bathroom by this deformed guy, who again takes him back to the creepy guy in the robe. And that's basically, there's not a really complicated story to go along with this, folks. But it's still, it wasn't super gory, but it had some nice kills in it, some nice monsters, and people getting turned evil, and kids getting turned evil and stuff like that. So I still had some fun with it. The acting wasn't too awfully bad in this one. And could I recommend it? Yeah, I can recommend it. And I'm actually, believe it or not, I'm going to give this one 4 dead eyes out of 5 as well. And like I said, if you guys and gals are interested in checking both of these films out, they are on YouTube. So you can watch them at your leisure. Although I would make sure that I watched them pretty quick just in case they get taken down or something. Um, but I guess that's all for the movies tonight. I want to thank Uncle Bill and Gory Tiger for being here in the chat with me and keeping me company. I don't, I don't think so, Uncle Bill. I don't think it won any Academy Awards. But for those of you that didn't feel comfortable getting in the chat or just didn't feel like getting in the chat, but we're watching along, I want to thank you guys and gals as well. Next week, I will be doing another couple of films, and I will be doing Evil Spawn from 1987, directed by Kenneth Hall, and the Garbage Pail Kids movie, also from 1987, directed by Rod Amato or Amity, something like that. So I just wanted to give y'all a heads up on what the next two films will be. And I'm going to stop and take a moment to let you guys and gals know some ways that you can support me and the channel that don't cost you a dime. Now, I appreciate any super chats and super stickers and people joining my channel and people joining my Patreon. I appreciate all of that. But there are other ways that don't cost you money that also get me up there in the algorithms of YouTube. And how, may you ask? Can you do that? Well, let's talk about it. If you're enjoying the content I'm putting out and you have not subscribed, what are you waiting for? It's free, folks. Nobody has to know but you and four walls around you. Generally, I don't look to see who has subscribed. I'll be like, oh, great, I got 3 new subscribers or whatever. But my goal, my next milestone goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers. And I'm 30 away now. Please don't let me lose anybody, because it seems like every time I mention that, somebody just like, well, I'll knock her off her high horse. Let's take one away. So I don't know if it's people unsubscribing or it's just YouTube being screwy. I don't know which it is. And if you get enough subscribers, you're going to stop noticing it at some point anyway. But some people might say, well, Dana, reaching 1,000 subscribers ain't no big deal. That's not no milestone. Well, to me it is, because even though I've had people promote me and promote the channel, and I appreciate that all, I feel like I'm kind of been like a grassroots type of channel, in that I built myself up from the ground up. And that doesn't mean I don't appreciate the people that said, hey, check out Dana's channel, along the way, and people that have really put me over and stuff. I appreciate all of that. But, the majority of it, I think, comes from, creating content. You got to create content to get people to want. If you never put content on, people probably aren't going to want to visit your channel. Well, she said, never had devil fish, but had some deviled eggs. I don't think you'd want to have this devil fish. But anyway, so if you haven't subscribed and you're enjoying the content, please, 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 please subscribe. And good Lord, I've got all these pop-ups coming up. I don't know what that was. And it didn't even make sounds. Usually it makes sounds when it does that, but it just, anyway, never mind. But I promise I will not come to your house and try to minister to you or try to sell you cookies and candy bars. You could be completely anonymous when subscribing. And there, even if you only come in once in a great while, you can still subscribe. Like I said, it doesn't hurt anything. You can be subscribed to a million different people if you want to. Yes, Wes and I think Uncle Bill are both subscribed to my channel, I believe. Um, and I appreciate Wes being subscribed, and Uncle Bill, and anybody else that's already subscribed. I appreciate you all. I really do. Um, as Ozzy would have said, I love all of you guys and gals. He probably didn't say it that way. I think he would say, I love I love you all, or something to that effect. But I do, and I mean that I don't mean that in a creepy way. I mean that in a good way. I appreciate everybody that comes to my streams, everybody that watches my videos, everybody that visits the channel and checks out what I've got, you know, and all of that. So another way is to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of the content that I have coming up when I get off my lazy duff and actually advertise, that is. You can hit the like button on any of the stuff that you especially appreciate. And you can also share with friends and family members my channel that you think might like the content that I'm putting out. Okay. And if you feel so inclined, and if you're financially able, this isn't a free thing, but you can head on over to deadicesondeck.com and check out the stuff that I've got on there for sale: t-shirts and tote bags and hats and mouse pads, blended teas, candles. Yeah, you can almost, if you can name it, I probably have it. Or I do custom work, folks. If you're not a horror fan, or even if you are a horror fan, you don't see what you want on my site, fill out the handy dandy form on the homepage of the site at deadicesondeck.com. In fact, folks, I will put the website in there for you guys. And you guys and gals might be thinking, boy, Dana's pimping herself out all over the place. Every time we get on here, she's talking about something. Well, I feel like if I want anybody to visit, if I want anybody to look at what I'm creating, then I got to advertise. I got to talk about it. So just permit me that little way to advertise for stuff. And eventually, hopefully, me and Candace, under the Lethal Ladies Inc. name, will be selling our wares at an upcoming convention near you, hopefully near you. But I'm just not sure when we're going to be able to do that right now. But I can also do, custom logos and stuff for your business. If you have a business, or you start a new business, you've got a side business, you have a friend or family member that you want to come up with a logo to put on shirts, tell me what it is you want. I'll come up with a few different designs. I will show those to you. You can pick which one that you like. And if you don't like any of them, I'll just have to back up and punt, and we'll try again. And also, if you do, purchase items with a logo that I've created on it, I will give you a discount when you get multiple items. Like if you say, I want 15 shirts with this company logo on it, hey, I'll give you a discount. Okay. So I'm willing to work with you guys and gals in any way that I need to hopefully, get repeat business, get other people interested, and all that good stuff. But I don't want to bore you guys to tears, because I've been on here almost 45 minutes. But again, I want to thank Uncle Bill, Wes, Gory Tiger for being in here in the chat with me tonight as I talked about devilfish and Evil Altar. Again, both of those films are on YouTube if you want to check them out. And I also want to thank those of you that maybe weren't active in the chat, but that were watching along as I talked about these films. I want to thank you as well for joining me. And for those of you that maybe didn't have time to watch this live, but will watch it on the replay, I thank you all as well. And I have officially reached the end. And as always, I'm off like a dirty shirt. This shirt ain't dirty, but I'm off like one. And I want to remind everybody, as I always do before I get off of here for the night, to be kind to one another and blaze that trail. Have a fantastic rest of your Monday night, folks. And I'll see everybody next time.